Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. WWE SmackDown has featured many exciting matches and promos to keep fans locked in on the road to WrestleMania. Since the beginning of its 3-hour format, the Blue brand has been using the depth of the roster to deliver some of the best storylines, and a lot of credit goes to the general manager of the show, Nick Aldis. While the storylines are all planned by the creative team, Aldis has managed to be the icing on the cake as one of the best general managers in the history of the Blue brand. However, the former TNA star might have to drop his duties as GM and return to in-ring action very soon. Aldis canceled a major WrestleMania match between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens last week on the Blue brand after the prizefighter announced his severe neck injury. Since then, there have been speculations that Aldis will step into the squared circle to face the Viper. While there hasn't been any update on this, Nick Aldis returning to in-ring action seems to be possible. However, if Aldis drops his duties as GM, who would WWE replace him with on the Blue brand? Let's check out a few names that could replace Nick Aldis as the general manager of SmackDown. Wade Barrett has been doing a brilliant job on commentary over the past few months, and is considered one of the all-time greats behind the microphone. However, the commentary spots are filled with some massive names, which has ended up being troublesome for veteran Corey Graves. Graves has been a main roster personality for quite a few years, but was moved to NXT recently, which ignited some issues. If WWE wants to quash all the rumblings, it could move Wade Barrett to the general manager's spot and bring back Graves as the commentator for the Blue brand. Barrett has been in and out of the ring multiple times and would be perfect for the role of manager. Further, this could end up solving all the internal issues WWE has been having and give everyone a worthy spot in the company. Former New Day star Big E's return to the squared circle seems uncertain. The former WWE champion suffered a severe neck injury back in 2022 and has been out of action since. The powerhouse of positivity has been featured as an executive who has been doing a brilliant job as a host and panelist on numerous WWE shows. If Nick Aldis steps aside from the managerial spot, Big E could take over his duties and add some entertainment to the Blue brand. The former WWE champion could open a lot of new doors, bringing in a plethora of opportunities for the company and getting SmackDown a perfect replacement as a general manager. Paige announced her departure from All Elite Wrestling recently, and the world has been wondering about her next role in the wrestling industry. The WWE Universe has been hoping to see Paige back in the sports entertainment juggernaut since the announcement and have found a perfect spot for her if she plans to make her comeback. If Nick Aldis steps away as the GM of the Blue brand, Paige could make her return to the spot. The former Divas champion had assumed the role of general manager on SmackDown in 2018, and could do the same with a massive return to the Stamford-based company. This could enhance the women's division as well, just when Triple H is planning to bring back the all-women's premium live event, Evolution. Fans will have to wait and see if Nick Aldis plans to return to in-ring competition, and what Triple H plans following that. Part 1. The Return of Nick Aldis. The story begins with the announcement that SmackDown will be introducing a new chapter in its history, marking the return of a former WWE superstar, Nick Aldis. Aldis, once known for his smooth talk, superior wrestling skills, and sheer charisma, had been out of the ring for several years, focusing on business ventures and other wrestling promotions. However, rumors had begun to swirl that Aldis had been offered a prominent role in WWE's upper management and might even return to the squared circle. The first segment kicks off with a live SmackDown broadcast. The arena is electric, and the anticipation builds as the camera cuts to the stage. There's a new theme song, and the crowd is on edge. Suddenly, Nick Aldis makes his way to the ring dressed in a sharp suit. The fans explode with cheers and boos as the familiar face of the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion steps into the spotlight. Aldis is a mix of the classic suave heel and an intelligent, business-minded individual. He has that aura that makes you question if he's there to save SmackDown or to completely take over. In a slick promo, Aldis speaks about how he's been watching WWE from afar and is finally ready to take the reins of SmackDown. He talks about how WWE's roster is stacked, but the brand needs someone who understands how to run the show with both authority and integrity. He declares that, as the new general manager of SmackDown, his first order of business is to shake things up, because the show hasn't been performing as it should. However, Aldis also teases his return to the ring, saying that he's been working hard in the gym and is ready to show the world that he still has the same in-ring brilliance that made him a star in the first place. The announcement that he's cleared to compete sends shockwaves through the WWE universe. Nick Aldis, as GM of SmackDown, becomes a central figure, a mastermind with a deep understanding of the business side of wrestling, but also someone who has the charisma to keep the audience hooked every week. With his authoritative presence, Aldis promises that the next few months will be a defining period for SmackDown. Part 2. Introducing the new general managers. With Aldis making waves as SmackDown's GM and his return to the ring imminent, WWE decides that SmackDown needs not one, but 3 general managers. This trio would each bring their own unique flair, creating a power struggle that adds drama to the weekly programming. The idea behind this is to give SmackDown a unique and compelling dynamic, where the decisions of each GM impact the storylines, and Aldis must navigate the political intricacies of WWE's management team. GM 1. Stephanie McMahon. The first general manager announced is none other than Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon and a longtime executive in WWE. The McMahon family has always had a significant role in shaping WWE. And with Stephanie in charge of SmackDown, the show gets a touch of legacy and power. When Stephanie appears on SmackDown for the first time, the fans erupt. She enters with her typical mix of elegance and ruthlessness. The drama is thick in the air as she announces that her role as GM will ensure that SmackDown thrives, and she vows to bring a level of professionalism and prestige to this show that it's never seen before. Aldis, however, is quick to challenge her authority. In an impromptu promo exchange, he points out how she's been a part of the WWE for decades, and yet SmackDown has never truly reached its full potential. Stephanie smirks and claims that she will bring a level of class and legitimacy that Aldis, despite his talent, cannot match. This sets the stage for friction between Aldis and McMahon, as she begins to stack the odds against him in various ways, introducing harder matches, placing Aldis in situations where his authority is undermined, and using her connections to manipulate the roster in her favor. GM 2. Paul Heyman. Next, Paul Heyman makes his return to WWE SmackDown as one of the new general managers. Heyman, the advocate for Brock Lesnar, has long been known for his managerial genius and ability to manipulate situations in his favor. His appearance sends shockwaves through the locker room as well as the fans, who know that wherever Paul Heyman goes, chaos usually follows. Heyman enters with his signature arrogance, declaring that he's the only person in WWE who can truly understand how to run a show like SmackDown, and that his vision will reshape the landscape of the blue brand. He's not interested in playing nice. He's there to make sure that the talent on SmackDown is not only top-notch, but also that the show's business model is as lucrative as possible. As Aldis tries to balance the power struggles between him and Stephanie McMahon, Heyman's influence becomes more apparent. He begins signing high-profile free agents, manipulating contract negotiations, and making shady deals behind the scenes. Heyman's manipulative nature creates tension between him and the other GMs, especially Aldis, who doesn't take kindly to Heyman's underhanded tactics. Part 3. The third GM, the wild card. The final general manager to be announced is a wild card, Kenny Omega. Omega, fresh off his stints in AEW and other promotions, is a huge signing for WWE. His arrival stuns the entire wrestling world. Omega is seen as an outsider, someone who isn't part of the traditional WWE mold, and his inclusion in the SmackDown management team instantly ignites controversy. Omega has a completely different approach to being a GM. He's not here to be a corporate puppet. He's a pure wrestler at heart, and his goals for SmackDown are to bring an intense level of competition and excitement back to the brand. His vision includes creating groundbreaking matchups and pushing the roster to its absolute limits, giving fans matches they've never seen before. The chemistry between Omega and Aldis is tense but also intriguing. The two have history, having crossed paths in various promotions, and there's an underlying sense that both men respect each other as competitors. However, Omega's style of management clashes with the political maneuverings of Heyman and McMahon. He's a breath of fresh air, a force of nature, and he doesn't play by the rules. Omega starts booking more extreme matches, ladder matches, Hell in a Cell, and multi-man bouts that force the superstars to prove their worth in ways they've never done before. As the weeks go by, the tensions between the GMs grow. Omega's unpredictable nature, Aldis' calculated approach, Heyman's manipulations, and McMahon's corporate agenda make for a volatile mix. The audience is on the edge of their seats, not knowing who will be in charge at any given moment. Part 4. The Showdown. As the weeks roll on, SmackDown becomes an epic battleground with each GM pushing their own agenda. Aldis, trying to maintain control over the brand, finds himself locked in a political battle with the other two GMs. His in-ring return is a turning point. He's able to prove that he can still compete at the highest level, and he uses his victories to solidify his position. However, the situation becomes complicated when a high-stakes match is booked by all three GMs, Omega, Heyman, and McMahon, putting Aldis against the current Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, in a match that will determine who gets final say in the future of SmackDown. The night of the match, tensions are at their peak. As the match unfolds, alliances shift, and the political landscape of WWE is turned upside down. Heyman and McMahon do everything in their power to ensure that Aldis loses, but Omega, sensing an opportunity, becomes a neutralizing force, ensuring that the match remains competitive. With the crowd on their feet, Aldis finds a way to win the match, securing his place at the top of the SmackDown hierarchy. Part 5. Aftermath and Legacy. In the aftermath of the explosive match, Nick Aldis is crowned as the definitive authority figure on SmackDown. He's managed to outsmart the other GMs and assert his dominance, but the battle is far from over. With a newly restructured SmackDown, Aldis sets his sights on bringing the best out of the roster, while still keeping an eye on his rivals, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Heyman, and Kenny Omega, all of whom still have their own agendas. Aldis begins reshaping SmackDown into a more competitive, story-driven show, with the fans finally getting the type of content they've wanted for years. The storyline closes with Aldis looking into the camera, acknowledging that he's made some enemies, but he's prepared for the challenges ahead. SmackDown is officially his kingdom. This would set up SmackDown as a thrilling, drama-filled show, with each GM bringing a different dynamic to the table, constantly challenging Nick Aldis' authority while allowing him to establish a powerful in-ring and managerial legacy. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.